I love historical context. I don't know how you feel about history, but I love it. It's a real love that came out of me when I started doing genealogy. I got fascinated with what the life was like of my ancestors. I want to show you all the places that I look online for historical context. They're pretty weird, unusual, a little dangerous for rabbit holes, and you'll see that as soon as I show you the 5 places. But it actually was one of my more popular posts on Substack. And if you look in the link in the description, you see a link to my Substack publication where you can find this in writing, as well as all my other posts that I've made. So let's get to it. I've organized these 5 items from least easiest to find, if that's such a thing, to easiest to find. So as I go through these things, you're going to see that they're easier to look up the original records online, but all of these are very awesome sources for family history context. So if you're looking for information about occupations, locations where people lived, ethnicity, immigration in and out of the state, religions, these are the places to go. The first one, which is number 5, and I'm going to get up to number 1, is the Historical Society journals. So in Pennsylvania, where I live, a lot of counties and also the state published their own journals about the history of that county or the entire state. And it might be the same where you live too, where you've had the people over the last 150 years or 100 years or 50 years, depending on where you live, publish these in-depth looks at people, places, events, and it's awesome, right? It's really, really awesome. And unfortunately, these journals, though, aren't online. They're not online and scanned and easy to search in a lot of cases. I have to go to the counties to find copies of the journals, but sometimes the indexes are online, which is helpful because then I know I can target my search or just ask them to send me a copy of just those particular journal pages. The fourth easiest, least easiest, most easiest place is the Library of Congress, going through their research centers. So a lot of people don't know that the Library of Congress is organized into these major research centers. So you can think of them as like silos or departments across the Library of Congress. So the Library of Congress has 2 buildings in Washington, D.C. It's got the Jefferson Building, which is the very pretty one, and it has the Madison Building, which is the very modern, plain one. And within those 2 buildings, there is a variety of these research centers. So for instance, maps is one that a lot of people are interested in. They also have photographs, manuscripts, rare books. There's a lot of research centers. If you're interested in a particular area, a place, or a people, and want to see what the Library of Congress has, I recommend going through the research center to figure it out. You access these research centers online through the Library of Congress website. When you look at it, you'll see that you can chat with expert librarians in those research centers on the topics that you want to talk about. So why not talk to an expert, right? And they'll let you know if the thing that you want is an in-person thing or online and accessible. And if it's in person, you can ask them what the process is to get that item digitized so you can use it for your research. I will warn you, definite rabbit holes. You could spend just hours and hours and days on this site. Once you get a hang of the way the research centers are organized, which you can totally do. And yeah, check it out. So the third place that I love to look for the really local historical context for my family is the Works Progress Administration Histories and Reports. Now, unfortunately in Pennsylvania, they never finished these reports. I know. If you're in a Midwestern state, You probably have a published version of these available. So I always recommend to people that I don't know is to start at the original source of the WPA files and see everything that they collected in the process, because not everything they collected was published too. So the WPA full finding aid of everything that they collected from every area, every person that they talked to, is on the Library of Congress website, and I linked that in my article. I should say that what the WPA did, the Works Progress Administration did from 1935 to 1942, was go around and talk to everyday Americans all around the country about their life and what it was like. So what a great rich source of information for our family history from 100 years ago or so. And the other wonderful thing they did in talking to these people was to say, tell me about your parents, your grandparents, where you came from and everything. So you kind of also get some backstory and history of the area, not just the present day moment. Now, my second place that I love to go for family history is Family Search. I know, Family Search we go to for genealogical records and searching, but they also have a huge book collection, and they have books in 2 different places, which is a little confusing. So the first place they have them is in the digital library. And so the library is copies of the books that they have on the shelves at the Family Search Library in Salt Lake City. And you can read them online and download the copy so you can search it. The other place on the Family Search website that has books is in the catalog. Now, the catalog isn't a book catalog, it's a catalog of records. And how you get to the catalog is on the main page. You just go to search and then catalog. But then you want to type in the location where your ancestors lived and then look under history under that category, because it is in the history section or the biography section. Just, look around in there that you'll find the books. And those books there are not linked to the books in the digital library necessarily. But it's definitely a great, let's say, medium, easy, accessible way to access family history. And then the number one easiest way that I look for family history, and you're going to think I'm cheating here, but it's not cheating, it's creative research, is Wikipedia footnotes. So we've heard our entire adult life, well, not our entire adult life, let's just say the last 20 years or so, don't trust Wikipedia articles. They're terrible. They're full of misinformation, and they're, and they get changed all the time. It ends up that a lot of the local history really doesn't change that much. But even if it does or it doesn't, if you look in the footnotes to the article, there is a bunch of archived links to sources that they use to write the article. So read the article, sure, but look at the footnotes and then click on the links in the description to get links to those resources. The bonus of a Wikipedia article is every image that they use is a public domain image. Go ahead and click on it and download the highest resolution that you can, and you can add that into the story that you're telling. And how would you like a bonus resource? I always love a bonus. So here's my bonus, and that is to use an AI tool I love, a lot of genealogists love, called Perplexity.ai. So Perplexity.ai is a search engine that helps you find sort of the nooks and crannies of the internet that Google might not be helping you find. So why don't I cover an example of a Perplexity search that I did that I found helpful, and I'll compare it to a Google search so you can see the difference. The first time you log into Perplexity, you will see this screen. And for the examples today, I will not be doing anything that requires a paid subscription, but if you continue with doing a lot of research, particularly in one area or for an extended time period where your ancestors lived, you might want to consider a subscription. The $20 a month is cancelable at any time, and the $200 provides a little bit of a discount over that monthly subscription. In this example, we're going to compare Google on the right to Perplexity on the left. The search we'll be doing is for a history of Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to make it super specific to ask for family history writing here. Generally I just do a general search, but let's see what we get for family history writing. We get Mastolf Press, which actually publishes family history books. We get one of the township historical societies. We get the Library of Congress. We get some things from Internet Archive. So it's an interesting variety, but I have to click through each one of these in order to figure out what's in there. So let's take away the family history part and see what we get for this result from Google. Now we get governmental sites, the Historical Society of Montgomery County, which is also helpful, Wikipedia, of course, Internet Archive again, and again, I'm going to have to click through each of these. At the bottom, there's some general questions that can help me with my search. And now let's just see what Perplexity will do with the same question. I'm going to go ahead and type it in the search box, just like I type in with Google, and let's see what we get. So for this set of results, what Perplexity does is summarize everything from the sources that it has attached at the top. It's done a narrative summary and categorized it by kind of the type of history that I might be interested in for my family history. I also get some actual books that I could check out. At the bottom of the results are some follow-up questions, which I personally find more insightful than the questions that Google gives me. And I can click on any of these, or I can customize my follow-up with anything. So picking this first one, here are the results on historical events in Montgomery County. Again, it's grouped it into categories, and this time by time period or type of history, noting the special places in the county. Of course, I can compare this to my ancestors in the county that were there for 4 generations and see which of these events overlaps with their time. Now, coming up with the 250th of the United States, it's really interesting to look at the American Revolution and what happened in the county in terms of that. As I mentioned, everything with Perplexity comes with sources. If you click on the sources, you get a pop-up window that gives you all of them, and you can click on those to go to the exact web pages where the information came from. Now, a little about the Perplexity interface. There's a microphone where you can give your search terms via voice command. There's also the file attachment to have Perplexity give it a summary, as well as to share the screen to a large screen like your TV. The deep research options are for pro users, although you get 1 free deep research a day. Across the top of the screen, you can have your search results read aloud to you. You can bookmark this page to be sure to find it. You can share it via email or text with anyone, and you can add it to a space, which is the Perplexity term for a folder, or delete it. To get the results out of Perplexity, the easiest way is probably to just highlight it and copy it into your research notes. But you can also scroll down to the bottom and use the copy icon here to copy it, or you can share it just like you did at the top via text or email. You'll get a little notification in the search bar so you know that you have done the copy function. And that is the full tour of Perplexity. So those are the 5 places that I get historical context for my writing. Those are the ones that I have found most useful. So if you have sources that you use, particularly outside of Pennsylvania, because I can only talk to my one geography, I'd love it if you drop it in the comments. My name's Denise Allen. You'll find me on Chronicle Makers, my Substack publication, and I hope to see you over there.